everyone! In this video I'm going to talk about the books that I read in my first year of recovery and the books that I still continue to read now that help me with that, and I'll explain to you why I highly recommend them. The first book I recommend, I started to read this before I actually got sober, and then I reread it again when I did get sober, and it helped immensely. The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle. I'll just read some of the headings of the chapters so you can see what the book is sort of about. Chapter 1, You Are Not Your Mind. Chapter 2, Consciousness, The Way Out of Pain. Chapter 8, Enlightened Relationships. Chapter 9, Beyond Happiness and Unhappiness, There is Peace. Chapter 10, The Meaning of Surrender. So just from the sounds of it, you know it's one of those books that helps any human, basically. Let's see, and I had underlined a lot of different parts of this book. Let's just pick one that I said, or that I underlined, rather. Later, people would occasionally come up to me and say, I want what you have. Can you give it to me or show me how to get it? And I would say, you have it already. You just can't feel it because your mind is making too much noise. So the next book is, you know, we might as well just get this out of the way because I'm going to recommend it. Deal with it. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. This book is really, really, really good. Whether you don't like the whole God thing or whatever your qualms are with AA, doesn't matter. Read this book, or at least parts of it. If you don't know anything about it, I'll just read some of the chapters. Well, they talk about, you know, the founders of AA, basically. So they say their story, talk about alcoholism, talk about how this program works, how to put it into action, how to work with others. There's a chapter on agnostics and getting sober that way. At the end of the book, that's where there is people's stories of how they got sober. Even just to read a couple of the stories in the back, you're going to find that you relate so much to the vast majority of what's in this book. You'll be really surprised, because I was. And the next book is not necessarily sobriety, addiction, recovery related, but it is something that I find a lot of addicts need. The Anxiety and Phobia Workbook. This is highly recommended. Sorry, it's by Edmund J. Bourne, PhD. This is the 4th edition. This is amazing. It's an actual workbook where you actually put in the work and do it. And basically you can, you know, here I'll just read this. Practical step-by-step directions for mastery of relaxation, exercise, coping with panic, exposure, overcoming negative self-talk, changing mistaken beliefs, visualization, self-esteem, nutrition, medication, meditation techniques, anxiety triggering health conditions. So it's all in this book. How to get through it, you know, tools to get through anxiety, panic, stuff like that. This is amazing, super awesome book. You need to buy this. I'm super poor. Actually, I'm not that bad as I was. But I was poor for maybe most of my life, most of my adult life. And even when I was super dirt poor, I still scrounged up enough money to buy these books that I'm talking about. Or they were a gift. That previous book was a gift. Next book is, and don't make fun of me, whatever, it's a good book. Or you'll think it's cool. I don't know, whatever. Fieldy's book. Fieldy, he is the bassist from Korn. So whether you like Korn or not doesn't really matter, because this is Fieldy's story, basically his whole life. And so I'll just read the back. From Korn's legendary bassist comes a no-holds-barred look at the extreme highs and drug and booze-fueled lows of the biggest heavy metal band of our era. Not sure if I agree with that last sentence. Doesn't matter. This guy rules. This book is really, really good. about all the shit he went through, how he got sober, and what it's like now out on the other side. Super inspirational. Very relatable. Even if you don't like that music, doesn't matter. It's a human who overcame a lot of bad shit and ended up good. And that's what you want to do, right? Yeah. So the next book, and I recommend this, I should have saved the best for last, but it's okay. This book, my friend Megan recommended it to me, and I'm so glad that she did. This book, I recommend it to everybody, especially people who are more into the punk scene, metal scene, but really it's for anybody. It's one of the best books, period, I've ever read in my entire life. It is Dharma Punks by Noah Levine. Excellent, excellent book. This is one of those times where I was dirt poor, but I scrounged up enough money and bought this off Amazon through my PayPal. If you think you can't afford it, whatever it is, like, frig off. Yeah, you can. I can't remember how much it is. It's less than $20. Use PayPal. You don't have to have a credit card. I don't have a credit card, never had one, but you can hook up your freaking bank account to this. Do whatever it takes to get this book. It's amazing. I underlined so many awesome spots in this book. The part with the deer in the woods, I still think about that now to this day, and I read this a long time ago. The part when he was, it's awesome. I'll just read a couple of the parts where I had underlined, just so you can, you know, see what's going on here. So, let's see. This one, it became less and less important to be cool and tough, and more important to be honest and kind. And here he says, he reminded me that if I held on to any of my resentments, I would likely drink again. That resentments for alcoholics like us were poison, and eventually, if not dealt with, led back to drink and drugs, or at least a life of misery and confusion. And here, what did I underline? I was really afraid of what I would find in the quiet moments. I was afraid of being bored and boring. Holy, yep. Filled with the grief and rage that had fueled years of drug abuse and violence, even in sobriety, it was still there. I was still afraid of what I might find if I slowed down enough to see what was really behind my negative attitudes and actions. Oh yeah, frig yeah, totally. I should probably read this one again. And let's see what else. I underlined my friends thought I was crazy. Why would you want to go camping alone? I was asked. I just said I was going to do some soul searching or something, and they were like, whatever, dude, you're turning into a real fucking hippie. They were right, I was. But I was a lot fucking happier than they were, so fuck it. I also underlined, my mind was filled with the comment a friend had made about how I was turning into a real fucking hippie. But I knew I was following a path that led to somewhere I had always wanted to be. That's so true. I don't know if you guys know what I mean, or what he means. But it's like you always, it's like you know that you're supposed to be this other person. And in the beginning when you're in active addiction, you know that it's out there somewhere, seems so far off. So that really spoke to me. That's why I underlined that. But I knew I was following a path that led to somewhere I had always wanted to be. It's crazy. You know what that looks like? You just know it's out there, you know? So you gotta chase it. And I'm in it. I'm in it right now. I am in it, in my life, right now, where I had always wanted to be. Minus the marriage and babies. But that's coming. At least I'm on the right path. At least I don't feel like I hate myself and want to die anymore. And I underlined, as I let go of my expectations and desires, I settled into a place of more mercy and care. Yeah. That's it. And what else did I underlined? The truth of suffering and the dissatisfactory nature of the material world. The punks see through the lies of society and the oppressive dictates of modern consumer culture. Very few punks though, seem to take it further and attempt to understand the causes and conditions of the suffering and falsehoods. Unfortunately, punks rarely come around to seeing that there is actually a solution and a path to personal freedom. Yep, totally. And the last bit I'll read from this amazing book is the last paragraph, the epilogue. Buddhism and punk rock obviously have some huge differences, but for me they are both part of a single thread that has been stitched through every aspect of my life. My search for happiness, which first led me to drugs and punk rock, is the same search that eventually brought me to a spiritual practice. The truth is, going against the internal stream of ignorance is way more rebellious than trying to start some sort of cultural revolution. It's easy to hate and point out everything that's wrong with the world. It is the hardest and most important work in one's life to free oneself from the bonds of fear and attachment. Compassion is our only hope, wisdom our weapon. The inner revolution will not be televised or sold on the internet. It must take place within one's own mind and heart. All of this is to say, wake up. Look at your own life and see what is true about yourself. Freedom is available. The trick is to stop looking out there for it and sit down, shut up, and see for yourself that your truest nature, however deeply buried or obscured, is closer to love than anything else. Get this book. The other book I don't have, so I'm just going to post a photo of it up right now. The book is called Drink: The Intimate Relationship Between Women and Alcohol by Dowsett Johnston. This book is amazing, and I still think about it every few days. And I still think of certain parts. I still pull out a lot of the knowledge that I found within it, whether it be like statistical data, which there is a lot of it, which is really eye-opening, and a lot of the things that she had researched, like how, and I mean, the word women is in the title, and that does have a lot to do with it. It is her story of her alcoholism and then how she got sober. It's incredibly inspirational and very relatable and so well written. And so she does talk about it from a women's perspective, but she also talks about how alcohol is advertised, and advertising techniques, and she basically put into words what I was not able to, but I felt a lot of anger about. But she put it into words and put real numbers behind it, so I felt valid in my anger. For instance, like how they're gearing more alcohol towards, single ladies, girls' night out, mommy needs vodka, like that whole infuriating culture that's now built around alcohol, geared towards women to drink all the time, and it's all super fruity and girly and classy and super cute, and buying super cute glasses and girls' night, woo, and basically perpetuating the consumption of alcohol, where so many people use it as a crutch, use it as a distraction, use it as something to numb, use it as a way to escape, a way to relax, you know what I mean? So how alcohol is promoted and advertised now, they're getting so good at it that it's just getting worse and worse, and women are especially vulnerable to trying to block out emotions, to and actually even too physiologically, women are a lot more apt to have the harmful effects of alcohol in body and mind. So the second last book I will recommend, this is for anyone who has a brain and body, so any human, especially people who have dealt with depression, anxiety, fatigue, anger, emotions, anyone who's dealt with that. Depression Free Naturally, 7 Weeks to Eliminating Anxiety, Despair, Fatigue, and Anger from Your Life by Joan, Mathews, Larson, PhD. So good. This book is full of amazing information. So I'll just read a few of the chapters so you can see what it's about. Don't be fooled by the natural part. Like, it's not fucking hocus pocus and it's not stuff that doesn't work. It's actual, real, scientifically proven. And this woman actually built her practice around this book, basically. And she treats thousands of patients to help them. So, part 1, feelings that therapy can't heal. It's not all in your mind. Part 2, understanding the chemistry behind the emotions. So she'll talk about biochemical glitches, how diet affects emotions. Diet affects your emotions so much. It's like a direct correlation of what you eat to your brain, to how you think and behave, your emotions, everything. She talks about amino acids, vitamins, minerals. Part 3, your specific emotional needs. So in here, like you do a basically like a quiz. You answer yes and no to all these different symptoms, add it all up, and then you can basically see what probably is going on in your brain. So you would talk about, or she talks about the anxious brain, sadness inside you, dissolving biochemical depression, when you're living with paranoia or compulsive perfectionism, the 2 extremes of histamine imbalance, from 0 to combustion, this talking about anger, controlling irritability, anger, and sudden violence, fatigue, and she talks about that and ways to get around that. Part 4, keeping your emotional balance for life. So she talks about natural hormone restoration. There is ways to naturally balance your hormones, and a hormone imbalance is more common than you'd think, and it affects your daily life dramatically, more than you could ever know. So yeah, just get this book. She explains it all. Anyway, it's amazing. See, I did a lot of the stuff in there. So much information, and talks about all the different vitamins and minerals and how you need to up your stuff, and like metabolism and pregnenolone, thyroid. I should read this again, actually. So good. Get this book. And last but not least, I just bought this book a month or 2 ago, basically as soon as it came out. It's a 2nd edition. I never had the 1st edition. I only got the 2nd edition, which I'm glad I did, because 2nd edition is dramatically improved. It's amazing. This book is awesome. So like I said before, and what I will say again in future videos, and I'll stand by it, because it's true. This is science here. Everything you put in your body has a direct correlation to what's in your brain, what's in your body, in your blood, in your everything, and that's what's put out into the world, and it affects your thoughts and your behaviors and everything. So first thing, really, you need to focus on good diet. Like I said, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I do a lot of my own research too. I don't just look on, Huffington Post, and I don't just go on WebMD. Like, I actually seek out scientific papers, and not the ones, posted on websites sponsored by the major brands, anything like that. Not ones that are only funded by organizations that are trying to sell sugar. Whatever, you know what I mean. I do my research, and I listen to the podcasts where those professional people who are PhDs, homeopathic doctors, real medical doctors, real people who seek real information also, those people tell me the information that I look for, real up-to-date information. So that being said, for myself, I came to the conclusion, and through my own trials too, I've been doing this diet for a year, and I did a few elimination diets as well, and different protocols, and I realized that the best approach for optimal human well-being and diet is paleo. So practical paleo has everything you need. P.S. No one's sponsoring me to do this. No one's paying me or asking me to promote these books. These are books that I bought, that I read, that I highly recommend that you buy. It'd be nice if I got paid, but I don't. It's fine. So I wouldn't try to tell you guys to do or buy or get anything that I didn't fully believe in and that I didn't promise helped me. Like I said before, I'm just sharing with you what helped me in hopes that maybe it will help you too. But anyway, when it comes to diet, do whatever you want. Do what feels right. Honestly, no one can tell you what you feel in your own body. If you feel in your own body that you need to eat a certain way or not eat a certain way, then that's you. 100% go for it. I'm just saying, for me, for my body, and for the research that I did, so that translates to the majority of humans, paleo is the best way to go. Again, doesn't have to be. It's whatever works for you. If you find another diet works for you that is not paleo, that's amazing. That's the whole point of it. That's the whole point of diet and nutrition, is whatever works for you, whatever makes you feel the best and is the most sustainable and makes you feel the best for years and years and years, not just in the moment. That's what you're after. For me, it's paleo. So this book there's meal plans in it. There's quick guides. There's 150 easy recipes. I make a lot of the recipes from this book. There's a lot of basic ones like bone broth and different condiments, and then full meals. This is Diane Sanfilippo, sorry, this is her book. She also wrote the book 21 Day Sugar Detox. And I bought that book as well, and I did the 21 Day Sugar Detox, lost 10 pounds, felt the best I've ever felt. And I did that at about 1.5 years, 2 years sober, I can't remember. So that's highly recommended too, 21 Day Sugar Detox, if you want to jumpstart your diet and feeling good and stuff. But either way, paleo is, it's not even that dogmatic really. This is just whole foods, proper nutrition. She explains, the digestive system. She talks about everything we've been taught about good nutrition is wrong. Talks about, eating whole foods, what it's like to start eating paleo, balancing your blood sugar, that's huge. There's a lot of really good information. And for the last book, this is a book that I'm actually currently reading right now. It is Expectation Hangover, Overcoming Disappointment in Work, Love, and Life by Christine Hasslar. I'm halfway through. It is really, really, really good. There's exercises in it, basically, another life-changing book. I don't want to say self-help book because that makes it sound hacky and shitty, but it really isn't. This book is a solid transformation book for your mind. It's really, really, really good. So that's it. Do you guys have any books that you are reading that you would recommend? If so, comment below. And have you read any of these books? Did you find that they were helpful too? I know some of the books aren't that well known, but I would love to hear other people's thoughts on them. And have an awesome night. Okay, bye.